Okay, parents, so this next video here is going to be a run through of the best practices for using parent accounts. In short, this is how you can set up your account so that you can very easily find things, and you can use the calendar feature. Those are really the two big things that we want to help you to set up. So to do this, we're going to suggest doing the setup with a computer. You can definitely use a mobile device after the computer setup, but I'm going to show it to you here through the web version. So I'm going to put in, this is a parent account that I use. So I'm just going to log in right here. Notice once you've created your parent account, you're going to log in the same place everybody else would. So that includes students, teachers, whoever else. Now, what I've done in here already is I've started changing some things around. So one thing that you might notice here is that I've changed around the names of the courses. And what I was trying to demonstrate here with this is that you can make it so that the names are a little bit easier for you to understand. Because when you first look at this and it says advanced math topics, you might say, well, wait a minute, whose class is that? And it can cause some of those types of confusion. So I just added this in and wanted to make it a little bit simple where I could actually change the name. So there we go, as you are noticing here, and oops, you know what, I forgot to push one button there. Let's push apply. It will come over here and it will change for us here on our dashboard so that we have a different name there that is easy for us to follow. So let's show these steps here. So since it didn't take that time, I'm going to show you here right from the dashboard. So up in the upper right hand corner, if you click right here, you're able to type in a nickname, and you can also change a color. So I could say, you know what, I want this color to be more like this light blue, and this is my child named James, let's say, their math class, or I could make it math, then James, however you would like it. Push apply down here in the bottom right, and you will see that it changes it over for you. So now we have the new color. We also have the name. Some ideas that I've had with this to consider, maybe include the child's name with the subject in the way that you would think about it as a parent. It's important to understand that this does not affect your children at all in their courses. Now, if you were to do this from their account, it would, but just from your account, the color is only for your purposes, and the name is also only for your purposes. And also take note, you can't change the full name of the course. That is still going to stay there, but you can change the nickname that you use. Now, why is that helpful? Well, number one, if I wanted to enter into one of these courses, for instance, if I wanted to come in here and see this specific course, I could enter in and I could look at it, and it reminds me of whose course it is. That's actually not a math class. We just gave it that name just for the purposes of this this tutorial. But if you come over here on the left, you can see that we have calendar. So if I click on calendar, and this is really the place where I think most of you are going to want to be spending the time if you are supporting your children, you can see that now not only do we have those same colors showing up, so I changed that James Math to light blue, so we have that showing up here, but also on the side, it tells me that that's what the course is, which can make it a little bit easier for me to tell apart which courses are which. Now, a strategy that I used was that I used the blue greens as one child and the red pinks as another child. You can see that you can't tell them apart too well, the red and pink ones, so maybe I should create a little bit more contrast in those, which I could from my dashboard, or I could right here. So if I want to give that more of a purple look, and let's say this one right here, I wanted to give it more of an orangish look, then I definitely could come in here and do that. But nonetheless, that's an option that you have. Something else to note right here on this screen, when you are looking at all these various assignments that are here on the calendar that are color-coded, it can seem a little bit overwhelming, and there are a couple things that we wanted to do to help you out with this. Number one, take note that every time that you see one of these, this is the due date. It is not the date that it was assigned. This is the way that we have standard practice across our buildings, and teachers, excuse me, are working through this right now. So in the next few weeks here, they'll be receiving more training specifically related to this, but that is what you can expect in the future here for this. Now, something else that's really interesting about this is if you were to click on one of these assignments, you can actually get more information. Now, they're not always going to have more information, but some will. So this one, you can see it gives a description, and then it also gives you the assignment. So if you wanted to click on it and see what exactly is it that this should look like, if you wanted to help your child to see what it would look like, that is a way that you can see that really quickly and really easily, which is very nice. Now, let's say that you have 5 children and you did all the naming, but this still looks really, really complicated. If you just wanted to focus on James's courses, for instance, I could come over here and click on the boxes on the side, and it will actually block off all of the courses over here that are for the other children. Now, let's say that I'm done helping James. I could block his out now and say that I'm going to go help Kristen. I'm going to click on these courses, and you can see that it's going to populate the list for those courses as we go. So it's a nice, easy way for you to be able to look at this in one place, identify what the homework is, and then be able to go in support with that. Now, that is from the computer version. So let's start over here now and let's look at our mobile version. How can we use this on the mobile device similarly? So one thing that I want to show you here is that the app that we are using and that I am strongly suggesting that everybody use is called Canvas by Instructure. So there are 3 different Canvas apps. One is for teachers, one is for parents, and one is this Canvas by Instructure, which is the app that our students use. The problem with the Canvas for Parent apps is really twofold. Number one, it really emphasizes grades, which we aren't really using in here. Grades are still going to be seen through Parent Portal or the Student Portal, so that's not something we want to do. And when I say that it emphasizes that, it emphasizes grades that are listed in Canvas, and those grades may not be accurate to what's happening in a class. They may actually just be checkup type of grades. Did you do your homework? And it wouldn't even filter into a grade book. So we're suggesting to not use that, but to instead use this Canvas by Instructure app. So if I open it up here, you'll see that I have all of these different logins that I've used before. Now what I'm going to do at this screen is simply type in USCSD. Okay. Now what it's asking me for here, to be clear, is it's saying find your school or district. Okay, find your school or district. We're going to type in USCSD. That is ours, no matter what building you're at. And at this next screen now, once it gets there, you can type in your same account information with the account that you already set up on your computer. Now, some of the things that I just showed you to set up with the calendar and things like that, it's important to do that from the computer because you can't do all of that on the app. So when we're done here, I push login, and you can see it's going to take me in into my account here. And now since I was making some modifications to course names and things like that, you can see that it's now showing up a little bit differently. So on the back side of the sheet here, how do we use the app now? Well, if you wanted to change the colors, you could still do that from this app right here. So you can see I could go and I could change James's math color. I cannot change the name of the course, however, and that's important to understand. You cannot do that from here. Now, up in the top right-hand corner, there's a settings wheel. If I tap on that settings wheel, you will see that there are some courses that have stars next to them. Those are the courses that will show up in my calendar. You don't have the same calendar on-off menu on the mobile version as you do on the computer. So anything that has a star, it is on, and not only is it going to show up on my home page here, because for instance, if I click on Boyce Middle School staff page, you'll see that it shows up for us up there now. I'm going to turn it off, and it won't show up there, but it also will not show up in our calendar. So to look at that, go to the bottom here, and we have calendar. And now you can see the same type of view. And now this is slightly different on an iPad than an iPhone. On an iPhone, you wouldn't see anything on the side. You would only see this view here. And as I tapped into a day, so let's say I tapped into the 11th, it would then take me and only show me this information on the side. Now what's really nice is as a parent, the same type of setup that we saw on the computer, if I tap onto something here, so I'm going to tap into this assignment right here, it could have more information. It might say, okay, here's the file for this specific assignment or something to that effect, and I'll give you one that has an example. So here are the directions, and if I tap on this, it will also open up the file for me, which is really, really nice. Kids actually, if you look here up in the top right, they could sit here and they could annotate on this. And by the way, I'm in as a parent, so you can see that you could actually have the same functionality to annotate right in here. Or if you wanted to print this out, you could print it out, or you could open it in a new note or do something like that. So it is a really, really nice feature that that we were able to do this. Again, it's important to note, not all teachers are up and running with doing every single detail of this just yet. So stay tuned for that, but it is a nice feature that we're hoping to build in here over time. So this has been a quick video here of how you can set up your account appropriately, access calendars appropriately, and be able to see the assignments and when they are due for multiple children from one location. I hope this has been helpful.